Bryson is calling. Hey, Bryson, welcome to the show. How can Dr. John and I help?
Hey, Dave, it's a true honor to speak with you. Thank you.
You too, man.
Hey, so I just resigned from a position that I'm a teacher, and I resigned from my position back in June. And they're trying to say that I broke contract and that I'm going to owe them $5,000, and they're going to take me to small claims court. I'm in baby step 2 right now, and I was wondering if I should be saving money for, just in case I do end up having to pay out money, or if I should just continue paying off debt, because there is a possibility I might not have to pay.
Okay, what was the $5,000 for?
Well, they are trying to say that that is a fee that I owe them because they are going to incur costs needing to hire and train new staff to replace me.
Did you violate your contract?
So I did not violate any laws with the Iowa Board of Educational Examiners.
No, that's not
June 30th.
Yeah, that's not what I'm asking. Not that you broke any laws or anything, but most K-12 teachers sign annual contracts for precisely this reason, to keep somebody from quitting in the middle of the summer.
Yes, I did sign a contract to return back in March, and then I did actually reach out for legal counsel, and they told me that I should be able to resign as long as I do it before June 30th. But, of course, I am breaking.
Why did they tell you that? If you had a contract, why did they tell you could break it?
Because they said that I was not breaking any laws with the Board of Educational Examiners.
Who is your lawyer?
I go to a private association here in Iowa.
Oh, you didn't talk to a real lawyer. You talked to an idiot. Okay. Because let me help you with this, okay? The law is one set of things. John's pointing that out. And because you didn't violate any laws doesn't mean you didn't break a contract. For instance, you sign a contract to buy a house. Not closing on the house and keeping your promise on that contract. You're liable for getting sued for that, but you didn't break any laws.
You don't go to jail.
You didn't break any real estate laws. You've not done anything criminal. You've not done anything according to the real estate commission or anything else. It's not criminal. It's not even a civil law that you broke. It's just you violated. You didn't keep your word legally, and there are costs with that. So that's what we're trying to ascertain. So yeah, you need to talk to like a real attorney, and yes, you need to stop your baby step 2, because I think you're probably going to be writing a check.
Okay.
You're going to lose. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Because you got bad advice. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy who's signed about 8 bazillion contracts in the last 40 years in business. And they're real. And I've held people to them. I've been held to them. And, when it wasn't convenient and so forth. And so... And, there's a spirit of the contract, and is there a COVID, a force majeure clause because of COVID that you could get out? I don't know. You need legal advice, and yes, you need to stop your baby step 2 and pile up some cash, because you're either going to spend some money on a lawyer and or give them $5,000.
I've been around city boards and municipal boards and state boards of education my whole career, and I've never heard of a financial clause, but I have heard them where they'll take your license from you, your teaching license, they'll suspend you. So they're serious about that for precisely this reason.
Because it costs some money.
They want to plan for the fall, right?
Yeah, and now they got to go replace the fall.
Right.
So you probably, with an attorney, if there's a force majeure, which is meaning in case of war or national calamity, earthquakes, hurricanes, COVIDs, and so on. A lot of contracts are being broke, or people are walking out of a lot of contracts right now on force majeure. And because, I've had some with these live events where we were not able to hold the live event because of the municipality changed the rules. And they said you can't do it. And yet I've got a contract with XYZ Arena.
Saying you'll show up, right?
Yeah. So, but under the, force majeure, I'm walking out, and I'm out clean. And so
but there's a lot of people learning French these days with that one, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've signed contracts with that phrase in there my whole life. I never thought in my life I would see a thing where I actually activated something because of something similar to an act of war.
Wow.
It dates back to, well, it dates way back, but I mean, the last time you saw stuff like that really activated was World War II. Things shut down.
Right.
I mean, they repurposed factories and started making tanks instead of making refrigerators.
Right.
And so, all of a sudden, there's contracts that people were held to or not held to, and so it became standard operating procedure in business to have that. So anyway, you need an attorney, dude. I'm not one, but I think that it sounds like you got bad advice to me.
Right.
On the surface, and I'm afraid you're going to lose that. So you do need to stop your baby step 2, and get ready, and yeah.
And if it may be that, man, there's something came up, like you say, something happened. I've again been around educators that are good people. They want what's best. They got into that business because they like helping people, and maybe you can go sit down and have a conversation, and they'll work with you. But
well, I think you might settle it.
It doesn't feel good.
Maybe
Yeah, hopefully.
maybe you pay $1,000 to an attorney and you settle it for $2,000 or something. But because those costs are a little bit nebulous.
Right.
How are you actually going to prove exactly what it costs you to replace a teacher?
Right. But the meta on that is, if you have an expense coming up down the road that's probably going to happen or maybe going to happen, plan for it. It's coming, right?
Yeah, and if you can't absorb it in your budget, which this is beyond that, then you've got, there's a hurricane a-coming.
Right.
So you better get the plywood, right, for the windows. That's what we're saying. And, that's a time you push pause on your baby steps and you get ready for the hurricane. Same thing as, a good version of that is a baby's on the way.
Okay.
It's a good version, right? And it's not a negative situation, in other words. But we say stop everything, get ready, and do that. Not directed at Bryson, because I don't know, we didn't get into the whole situation. But I think it's fair to comment in the middle of this that when I got in the real estate business in 1978 and people wrote a contract to buy a house, you know what they did? They bought the house. Nowadays, they just kind of think it's like an option.
It's just a holding period?
I'll just lose my earnest money is all. I'm not going to do it. I changed my mind. I'm just going to lose my earnest money. And there's a specific performance clause in a real estate contract. You can get your butt sued.
Absolutely.
And you can lose. And the court forced you to close on a house you said you were going to. You ought to not enter in and shake hands in a pledge and enter into a contract. Now, again, this is not directed at Bryson, because I don't know what all he was up against. We didn't get into that. But just in general, one of the attributes of people who are successful in every area of their lives is extreme fanatical levels of integrity.
I tell folks I gave my son my face and my last name. That's all I gave him, right? And I've got to defend both of those. And my face isn't pretty. I gotta lock down on the integrity of my name.
Well, you are in radio, so there you go. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.